The legend of the cadet. The legend says that the cadet is an animal with big red eyes, with the appearance of a dog, but with a huge size, which can give enormous jumps. But above all, it is a dark animal that several people assure that it is the same Lucifer guard dog. This story goes back to the times of the 1970s, when even in a small town called Punta Flor, where people lived in mud houses, and for lighting they had to use their battery light, and even in their homes they made use of the tufts. The streets were entirely made of dirt. So at that time in history you heard a lot of witchcraft and things that happened to people who worked in the milking in the early morning, and others who went out very late to fish, told that they were scared of shadows. An unrestrained Kacha and a woman in white who anxiously cried out for her children. But the most feared of all was the cadaver, because he not only frightened them away, but also mistreated them by pulling and tugging them until they were completely rolled over. In this town of Punta Flor there were two young men who did not believe in it. One of them played soccer every weekend at the Arenal. His name was Roberto, and the other was Gerardo, who was a little older. He went with Roberto just to be a spectator and to take his chalice. They always commented on the scares on their way back, but they always returned home at 5 or 6 in the afternoon when the sun was still setting. But one day there was a soccer tournament at the Arenal that took longer than expected, where Roberto's team was a finalist, where they won in the penalties and finished a little late, and Gerardo, for the emotion that his friend won the final, drank even more. So much so that they left the Arenal at 11 p.m. where they had to walk to Punta Flor, and on their way they passed by the cemetery of both towns. They passed by that cemetery just 10 minutes to 12 p.m., and it was there that they felt a presence. But since they were going with the euphoria of having won and under the alcohol, they did not pay so much attention. Exactly at 12 o'clock that beast came out, and suddenly the two of them ran out, and the cadaver behind them first caught up with Gerardo and rolled him over so much that he screamed. Roberto, upon hearing his friend try to help him with a stick he found on the road that did not work the same way, shook him up, leaving him all rolled up. When an elderly man noticed this, he arrived with stones that he pissed on before picking them up. Where were those stones that, if they could hit that beast? He left. The next day everyone knew that the cadet had attacked, but Don Oscar reached to him with that ancient secret of urine. When they discovered that Don Tomas, a very old man, had stones, they discovered that practice black magic, Lynch, and that's where they discovered that he was 187 years old, and for having a pact with the devil could not leave this world.